Calitzdorp is 'n plekkie in die Klein Karoo wat nie vir sissies is nie. Hierso is dit 'n harde wêreld, baie afhanklik van water om 'n oorlewing te maak. Maar die mense wat hier bly as gevolg van 'n moeilike oorlewing is uitstekende mense.
Die tipe mense wat jy hier kry, die Klein Karoo mense, is iets van my kindertyd of daai klein dorp se mense het, jy weet, dis 'n gemeenskap, goed, mense kyk na mekaar, mense gee om, en jy het nog 'n ou tante wat koek bak en beskuit bak en iemand wat vrugte inlê. So dit is 'n baie rustiger leefstyl, 'n beter kwaliteit van lewe wat jy hier kry.
A lot of people have realized that they actually can work from home. It's not necessary to work from offices. So why work in a city and live in a city if you can live in the countryside? The cost is a lot less. The quality of life is amazing compared to the city. So yeah, it makes such sense.
In 1821, there were two brothers, the Calitzes, the JJ and MC Calitz. At that time, the government owned all the land, and as a farmer you leased the land. They were then given the title deed of a farm called Buffelsvallei, which is around the Gamke River and the Nel River. They got that, they subdivided it up and sold it to other farmers, and then also to their sons and son-in-laws. Now they were all Calitzes, so therefore people referred to this area as Calitzdorp, which meant the town where the Calitzes come from. So that is how Calitzdorp got its name, and it has stuck and never changed.
Someone's never heard of Calitzdorp. It wouldn't surprise me, because a lot of people, I say I'm now in Calitzdorp and they say, where on earth is that? But it is a very special place. It's on the way to Cape Town, so it's the first stop you'll get to from Oudtshoorn on the way to Cape Town. And it's got fantastic wine farms. There's so much here. There's a lot for people to do. You've got the hot baths, lot of artists, a lot of really creative people. You need to spend a little time to actually walk around, go to the tourist bureau, actually see what there is to see. But there's a lot to see, and you wouldn't know unless you actually come here. So it's a little hidden secret, I think.
Die rustige lewe van die Klein Karoo, dink ek, gee vir jou daai spasie en daai ruimte om anders na goed te kyk, en dit jou kreatiwiteit groei net en ontwikkel net en goed. En soos byvoorbeeld die plante afdeling, het ek nooit eintlik in vetplante of succulents belang gestel nie, totdat ek besef het dat Calitzdorp is die hart van die vetplant ryk in die wêreld. En daar's jaarliks in September het ons 'n vetplantfees en van die raarste plante en goed en groei hierso so.
South Africa is home to nearly 50% of all the succulents on Earth.
Oh, the reason we are here is because of the region, because of the plants. Succulents are our passion. And Calitzdorp and the surrounding Klein Karoo is a biome that has amazing diversity in succulent plants. You will never live long enough to discover everything it has to offer.
Our lives have changed completely, upside down, compared to our lives in the Netherlands. I used to work in a boutique, always wear beautiful clothes, and now I'm just a sourdough baker who's always covered in dust and dough and soil from the land. You know, we're so much embracing our lives here. I've never worked so hard before, but I love it. It's so honest. We're connected to nature, to the soil, to the air, to whatever we do. We need all those things. We need the soil, we need the air, we need the yeasts that fly around, we need the people in our community that make our lives incredible, all the support that we've been getting here. No, it's like a warm blanket. It's completely different from our lives in the Netherlands, living in a city, you know, never being able to see the complete sky or watch what the moon does in the night, and yeah.
So Calitzdorp is one of the few towns that still gets leewater. We get water fed to the gardens in the town, but the majority of that water goes through to the farming community. The leewater is furrowed channeled water, which you pay an annual fee, you're part of the water board, and you get supplied a percentage of water per hour depending on the size of your property. That is how it's allocated to you. So the majority of it, as I said, is for farmers, for their orchards, vineyards, and for lucerne fields. So we do flood irrigation, is our main form of irrigation. Hence we're using the leewater for that.
Calitzdorp word eintlik of is bekend as die poorthoofstad van Suid-Afrika. So die klimaat en weeromstandighede van Calitzdorp is baie na aan dit van die streke in Portugal waar hulle port maak. So hier groei ons spesifieke Franse cultivars, soos Touriga Nacional, Tinta Barocca, en dit gebruik ons om die port mee te maak. En ek moet sê, die port wat uit Calitzdorp uitkom, wat ons nou ongelukkig nie meer port kan noem nie, is van die mees uitstaande porte in die wêreld, sal ek sê. Ek moet sê, ons het so 900 olyfbome op die plaas. Ons maak ons eie tafelolywe en ons het ook olyfolie van ons eie olywe, al pas ons dit nie self nie. So dit is beskikbaar en dit is van 'n baie hoë gehalte. Ons kyk spesifiek intens na die voorbereiding van ons tafelolywe voordat ons dit bottel. En dan ons olyfolie is baie populêr hier in die omgewing. Mense van reg oor die streek van Georgia en omgewing sal hier na Calitzdorp toe kom net om ons olyfolie te koop.
Well, the bakery is actually a place where everybody comes and meets or gathers. You know, we have this long table here on the veranda, and everybody just sits together, makes new friends, connects, shares bread, shares their food and their stories. And it's a great place of coming together, I think. That's what the bakery has brought to Calitzdorp.
Die lewe in Calitzdorp is soos 'n olyf. Jy moet dit met geduld hanteer en jy moet geduldig wees ook, want net soos wat die olyf vir jou sê wanneer die tyd reg is om iets te doen, so sal die mense in die dorp vir jou sê wanneer dit tyd is om iets aan te pak.
Who would have thought that this little valley would produce the best port, the best fruits to be exported all around the world?
En dis vir mense wat in Calitzdorp kom kuier of besoek, sal altyd weer terugkom. Hier het al mense wat hier kom kuier het vir die eerste keer teruggekom en hier kom bly. So dit sê nogal iets van hierdie plek.